Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode here on the MIgardener channel. So, I've been getting a lot of questions on my grow lights here. Now, I have done an entire series on a grow room build from start to finish, and I already covered the lights in that. So, check that first because it might answer some of your questions, and then pop back onto this episode here where we cover this light here that I'm holding. Now, what happened is I accidentally, okay, so long story, but I accidentally broke one of these lights, and I can't go into detail, it'd be just too embarrassing, but I basically kind of almost dropped the light. I was trying to set it up, and it's almost a two-person job, and so I was wrestling it up there, and it kind of slipped, and it hit, and it didn't really hit anything hard, but it jostled the lights just enough to break one of the connectors. I don't even know what it's called, but one of the kind of the little connector pieces on the T5 bulb, and it kind of bent it, and it shorted the circuit out. So nothing broke at all. It just shorted the circuit. So I needed to get a new light. You know, mistakes happen. We're all humans. But it gave me a great opportunity to cover the lights because I actually got the same light that's being used in these setups here. Now, the setups did come with the lights, and that's really great if you can find those, because you can typically save some money because the people making these lights will typically buy the lights in bulk so that they're dealing with volume, so that you don't have to buy each individual light, which I had to buy for this one, and it was pretty brutal. $11.50 for this light here. So now we're going to go into what it is though. So what makes these lights special versus other regular household lighting is that these are high output light bulbs. So they run on 54 watts. Each bulb runs on 54 watts, and that's compact fluorescent wattage. So if you're looking at like a comparison, this light bulb here would put out the equivalent of like a 200 watt light bulb. So it is a very bright white light bulb. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is the amount of Kelvin here. This Kelvin is a great number. So the Kelvin is actually going to be what color it is. And you can see that it says blue lamp. And that blue lamp means that the color is going to be more on the blue scale. And I talked about this in the previous video, but the blue color is more along the lines of daylight white. It's not like a true white, but it's a little bit further past that. And it's very bright, and it allows you to really produce a lot of energy with the plants, because the way light works is that regular sunlight energy contains a little bit of blue, a little bit of reds, a little bit of oranges, so it contains a lot of everything, a lot of all spectrum light. And so when you have something like lettuce here, it doesn't really need the oranges and the reds because it's not fruiting, right? So I go for something that's strictly used for growth, and that's blue light. And blue light is used a lot with growth. Pretty much all of growth happens with the blue light spectrum. So I'm putting blue light on these plants. Every single one of these grow lights is 8 bulbs, 6,500 Kelvin. So each bulb is, there's 8 bulbs in each grow setup, and each one is 54 watts, and each one puts out 6,500 Kelvin. So I'm getting a ton of results from these grow beds, as you'll see on some of my other videos. I can't do an update today because it'll be just too long. I'm trying to keep my videos under 10 minutes. So just check out other updates. I have an update not too long ago, and it is very impressive. So very cool. Now the next thing that people always talk about is, you know, they always ask me, at what point is a compact fluorescent better than an LED? And some of the pros and cons are basically that you're going to have a longer lifespan on LEDs. That's I guess the biggest pro that I can see. The other ones are that they are they're a little less energy hogging. You know, they run typically a little cooler than these compact fluorescents here. And so they don't produce as much heat, so you don't need as much of, you know, exhaust fans and stuff, which we do have some, we do have some ballasts here on the side, and that allows the air to vent out. You really don't need those with LEDs. Some systems do have them, but you don't really need them all that much. Now, some of the cons of LEDs are that they're very, very expensive. So if you're going to get into a setup, it's not really going to be for growing vegetables. Hint, hint, you're going to be growing some other type of vegetables. Not here at the MIgardener channel though. So, you know, you really do have to look at what you're growing. Here in legal land, we're growing vegetables, so it needs to be cost effective. And so, you know, this was a bite to spend this much here, but these grow lights here came with the lights and the light itself for $100. So $100, and this was a Cyber Monday deal, but you can typically find, if you search really, really hard, you can find some here. And these are, again, I'll say it because I know I'll get it in the comments question or the comments box. But this is a Viva Grow. It is 4 foot long. It's made of T5 bulbs. It is 2 feet, or it's roughly 2 feet. It runs at 432 watts per setup, and they are roughly 2 feet long. Not really, they're like 22 inches long, so about 2 feet long, 4 feet or 4 feet long, 2 feet wide. There we go, get it right, Luke. And so that is what I'm using. Now, the thing is with these is that the thing with compact fluorescents that I'll get back into the pros and cons with is that the pros of using compact fluorescents is that they're cheap. They also have a lot, they have a lot more spread to them. So basically, I don't know the technical term, but basically, because I'm not a, you know, I mean, I'm not a hydroponic specialist. I'm just here to inspire and kind of go along the steps, because this is my first go at it too. And I've talked to a lot of people to get the information that I'm bringing to you. And that's basically that LEDs are essentially a small light. Well, it's a small diode. It's a light emitting diode that basically shoots the light almost straight down. It doesn't have a whole lot of spread outwards. Whereas compact fluorescents, they are theoretically, you know, these are a tube light, or they can come in those spiral bulbs, but they emit light everywhere. So you can get more bang for your buck. You can get more coverage on compact fluorescents than you can LEDs, because LEDs, you'll notice they pretty much make a little square. So if you spend $300, let's say, which is pretty run of the mill. I've seen some for 100, I've seen some for 200, I've seen some for 2,000. You know what I mean? So there's a very large spectrum with those grow lights. You know, and the same thing goes with compact fluorescents too, but it's a way bigger spectrum, and they tend to be way higher on the price range for the LEDs. But back to what I was saying though, is you can spend, let's say $300. I don't know, I just thrown out a number for a 2 foot by 2 foot LED square. Okay, $300, 2 feet by 2 feet. I don't know about you, but I really don't feel like growing one tomato is worth $300. It's just not financially sustainable for me. So whereas this, you know, I'll have 8 lights in here, and I'll turn them on for you in a second, and I'll show you just how much spread they have. They do theoretically have a little more wasted light, but if you have good reflective capabilities on your walls, and also I'm going to get a Mylar roll. I'm going to have a roll of Mylar that I can basically Velcro up to the top beam up here, and then when I'm not in this room, I can theoretically just roll it down. It'll reflect 100% or nearly 100% of the light back on the plants. And so all that wasted light actually gets bounced back. So I'm not actually wasting all that much. So let's check out the coverage here versus what you'd expect to see almost on a straight down LED type of coverage there. So let's turn them on. And so you can see that, you know, this bed here does have one light running. So let's shut this light off, and you can see just how much light actually seeps out. See over here, there's actually light way over here that if I were to have a plant, you know, here's these plants, they're ending right here. I could theoretically have a plant right here in the middle of these two grow beds, and it would be growing straight up just fine because there's actually light kind of coming out on an angle. Maybe I'd say at a 45-degree angle, you still have light, growable light right here. So, you know, it's definitely more efficient when it comes to lighting. Now I'm gonna shut that off so you can actually see me. Okay, there we go. The very last thing that I wanna talk about though is that the height of the lights is really important. So I have these lights set about, I think 14.5 was the last time I measured it. 14.5, I've moved them up and down a little bit, just kind of messing with them to see how the plants responded and whatnot. But the last time I checked, they were at 14.5 inches away from the grow, the float here. So 14.5 inches is fine. When they grow up a little bit, I'm going to get a chance to raise these lights up. You don't want to have them super close because with this many lights running, it does tend to run a little bit hot. Hotter than I would like, really. Not hot enough to burn them, but these are cold weather crops. These are lettuce. So lettuce does not like 85 degrees, which is, you know, great for tomatoes, but I'm not growing any tomatoes in here. So I need to raise these lights up a little bit and kind of keep it in that range where it's very effective, but not so effective that it's causing the plants to bolt. And then for something like tomatoes, you know, you're going to want it really, really close. If you're growing tomatoes, or let's say you're growing cucumbers or some type of warm summer vegetable, they're not going to care if it's 85 degrees. You can have it 3-4 inches above the plant. They're going to thrive. Now the next thing is you want to make sure that it's not too high up though, to where the basically the effectiveness of the lights is not efficient enough to grow your plants, because like anything, LEDs or compact fluorescents, the higher you go, the less power it has, or the less growing potential the lights have on the plants below. Because it's just like anything, you know, obviously the light is strongest when it's the closest to the light. I mean, I have an overhead light here. You know, you put your hand down here, it's not as bright as it is way up here. It's just common sense. So the more light particles hitting these leaves, the better. And it's just like my hand. You know, I have some light particles hitting my hand here because there's a lot of wasted light from that overhead light. It's spreading through this entire room. So the closer I get, the more light particles are hitting my hand, and that means more energy for the plant. So hopefully that helps. Now, I probably have gone over my time limit, but if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please post them in the comments box below. I'd be glad to answer them. Again, this light here, I might as well go through this too, because I'm trying to help you guys out with everything, and I was told by numerous people, go through every step, and it's like, it's so difficult to go through every step, because I mean, I'm bound to forget some steps. So these lights here are made by Ultra Sun. Now, Ultra Sun, I don't know if it's a good brand, poor brand, great brand, you know what I mean? It's a brand. I got it at a hydroponic store, so that's what I'm using in these here. So hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned something new, and hopefully you are growing big or going home, and I'll talk to y'all later. This is Luke from MIgardener. See ya. Bye.